this video we are not unboxing because I've had this machine for quite a while, another heavy duty machine. It's a Singer 4432. I've had it for a number of years. I think I bought it back in 2016. It's around the 250 price bracket. Now it's similar to the Q132A from Neki. It's another heavy duty machine, and also the Brother HF27, which is Brother's heavy duty sewing machine. So I wanted to compare all three because, as you see, I've had this for quite some time. It's been brilliant for me. I've sewn so many school costumes. I've sewn loads for people in the days when I used to sew for people. Lightweight chiffon to handbags. It's been really well used. It's sort of my go-to sewing machine. If I suddenly need to make a quick something, this machine goes at 1,000 stitches per minute. It has a good power. So Singer have a range of these machines. Now this is the 4432. It's got 32 stitches and it's also in the same price bracket as the Brother and the Neki that I'm comparing. So I'm going to run a similar sort of test through it. I'm going to see what it's like with the denim, with the chiffon and with the leatherette. So on the front you can see it clearly tells you it's a Singer Heavy Duty. You have your stitch dial there and it goes up to a 4mm stitch. Then you've got your S1s and your S2s. So your S1 stitches are highlighted by the blue stitches, and your S2 stitches, when you select the S2, are highlighted with the red stitches. So you've got a nice selection of stitches here. You've got your overcast, you've got your stretch stitches, and you've got some decorative stitches that you can use. On the front you've also got the reverse button, which is in a really handy place right above the needle. Down here you can see you've got a metal plate on top of your throat. That allows fabric like leatherette to glide through. The texture on this machine isn't glossy. It has a ripply texture to it, so it allows some sort of grip or some sort of friction so that fabrics aren't falling off so easily. You've got your automatic needle threader down there and your buttonhole, one-step buttonhole. We've got our bobbin winder, and then over here we have our stitch width dial. Over here you have your needle position, so you can set the needle right, middle and left. Here you have the tension, and over here you have your presser foot pressure dial, which you can adjust very easily with the screwdriver. So for thicker fabrics you want to go positive, and for lighter fabrics you want to go negative. So on the side I have the adjustment for the density of stitches. More stitches on one side of the buttonhole than the other. You can just grab again your screwdriver and make an adjustment here to balance it out. You've got your hand wheel, and on the back we've got the presser foot lever. Also on the back you've got your drop feed. The accessories that come with the machine, you get a buttonhole foot, a button foot, a zip foot, plus the zigzag foot installed on the machine, 3 extra bobbins, your spool pin, 2 spool caps, your screwdriver, brush with seam ripper, some extra size 90 needles, quilting bar, and you get a felt, which I've already got on the machine. The instructions with every Singer sewing machine are excellent. Put a brand new size 90 needle in there. So I'm going to sew some denim. I'm going to start with 2 layers. 1100 stitches a minute, that's quite fast, and you can see the stitches have come out really well. Sew this now. I'm going to have 6 layers of fabric. Yeah, okay, so something's going on with the bobbin, because the bobbin has managed to sew all the way but then undone itself. So I'm going to change the bobbin over. Alright, so I'll just press that down there to the side. to go over quite a number of layers there. The powerful motor is 84 watts. It should be able to do that okay. Again, the bobbin thread's broken, but if we have, ignore that part and just have a look at the stitches. So we're looking at stitches like that, nice and regular, and then for some reason over the many layers you've got a lot of narrowed stitching going. This is not as good as I remember it being, unfortunately. I think coming away from an 800 stitches per minute machine to 1100, I think I was wowed. And you know, you compromise when you sew as a, you know, I wasn't a beginner, but I wasn't what I would class a professional. I definitely sewed for people, but I didn't really consider all these individual bits and bobs. You don't really think about all that, and you compromise and you accept, but that's not really acceptable. Let's try some leather, some leatherette. Let's have a look. There we go. Beautiful. Nice even stitches. Okay, this time we're going to go straight over to 4 layers. I'll have a Schmetz needle in there. Just doesn't want to go in. Have a look. You're okay. Can't do 4 layers, let's try 3. Let's see what we get. It's definitely happy with 2. It just doesn't it's just not liking 3 layers of this leatherette. Happy with 2. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up 4 layers. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So it goes, so this portion, it will be on 4 layers of fabric of this leatherette. So we had 4 layers for this small portion, and the stitches look fine, although they're pulling through on the back. So I think what's happening is the machine just doesn't like 4 layers to start off with. No. So I can't put 4 layers in directly like that. So if I was doing a handbag, say a handle, and you wanted to swirl the end, and you've got 4 layers that you want to top stitch, you just can't do it. It won't let you. Start further in. So that's not good. Alright, so we know it can happily cope with 2 layers of leatherette. We know it can cope with layers of denim, but 4, anything more than 4, and the stitches were irregular. Let's have a look at a zigzag stitch on here. And they've come up beautiful. Bit of a tension issue if we need to tighten the top to balance it. And I think it's going to be like the brother. I've got to tighten it quite a lot for it to balance. first, second and third, and that's with the tension up right up at 8. So that's not brilliant, is it? We should only have to really turn it 1 or 2 bits, and that's only on 1 sheet of fabric. If I wanted to do a decorative stitch on a design on the front of my handbag, I need it to look good on the other side as well. Okay, you can see I've placed some embroidery thread in here, both on the top and the bottom with my 60 needle. The embroidery thread has a twist of 40, so it weighs 40 grams for every 1,000 meters of this thread. Your usual thread is a 90 tex, which is 90 grams per 1,000 meters. Overlocker thread tends to be 120. A little bit of knowledge shared with you there. Right, let's just pop that needle in. It's a 60 needle, which is equivalent to 0.6 of a millimetre, so it's very thin. Got some threads from the chiffon pulling on there. Okay, some of the edge. Right, let's see what we get. So that's not too bad, is it? Looks good. No puckering, no snags, good stitch. It's just a little bit puckering, but that's because I probably need to change the pressure. Let's try that again, just one more time. But the important thing is it's sewing for us really well. Alright, so that's it. So that's the result of the Singer 4432. 32 stitches, 1100 stitches a minute. It's got 84 watts of power. It is a sturdy machine and heavy duty for the Singer. Singer do have a range of heavy duty sewing machines. This isn't the only one they do. You can get a different number of stitches with them and a different power with them. So on the whole, it's a good machine. It is solid. It feels really nice. Again, it's got all the features of the other two as well. So it looks great. There is no extension table, but this is a nice free arm system that comes off, which allows you a bit of space at the bottom, at the back. Even though, what I want to point out as well, on these machines, that they have this sturdy part at the front, and the reason they have this, if you feel like it's a little bit awkward to get your sleeves and hems underneath there, the reason they have this is because this machine is going really fast. You don't want it to tip over at all. You want that stability there, so it is designed to be a strong and stable machine. When I put a layer of leatherette through the machine and gave it a decorative stitch to do, it struggled. So it struggled with a satin stitch. But eventually, with adjusting the tension, we got something near enough, good enough. Going through 2 layers of leatherette was fine. As soon as I tried to do 3 or 4, the machine struggled. I can't remember that happening before, but I did build up, going from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 layers and then back down again. So it coped with that fine, but there are stitches being skipped on the back. When I went through the denim, going again on 1 or 2 or even 3 layers, it was fine, although we did catch 1 stitch that was missing. They're all brand new needles. I was going over 6 layers, but then going over the 9 layers, I had uneven stitches when I went really slow. So I had to slow the machine down. It boasts 1100 stitches a minute, but that doesn't mean everything will work at 1100 stitches a minute. It just means that's how fast the machine can go.